is the new way to write the procedure and methods about that data which is being manipulated by the classes. In the older time, when there was not object-oriented programming, we type the program in this way. We type a main function, okay, and inside the main function we define some variables. These are the variables, and we use different functions that operate on these variables. Okay, you can see different examples, like you have declared some variable, and you call some function to work on that variable. That was the older style of programming. Object oriented programming, basically a new style of programming in which we we collect, we you can say that we encapsulate two things. One thing is the data, what is the data to be stored, and other thing, what operations will be performed on this particular data. So when you enclose data and its operation in separate entity, if you develop your program in this way, this style of programming is called object oriented programming. This is the modern uh, style in which we can create different objects, and these objects are consists of its data and the method. Simple example of objects, the object, like we say employee. Okay, if I not employee, then a different example. I ask you about student. If we want to know about the student, we know that student have some ID, okay, and student have some name, student can have some age, student have can some course, and etc., etc. These are data. This is all about the data uh, to make an entity of student. But if we want about what are the functions, what will be the function it perform, what are the operations that can be performed, so we can calculate what are the courses, okay, register course. This function of a student go to a system and select the courses which he want to select for its next semester. Okay, student want to get his name from the system, he can retrieve his name from the system. Student can check its ID, get an ID for scholarship, either he has got some scholarship or not. If you look this example, you can see that these are different operations. This could be many. These are different operations, and these operations are working on this data. Okay, look at these data, and these operations are directly for student. Can you imagine that? So when we make the program in this way, that we select some object and we work on the data members of that object, and then the member functions of that object. So this is the new style. In the old style, we write programs, and in the programs we define variables, and to perform the operations we write functions. That functions operate on different variables. But in object oriented programming, we will define objects, and every object will have its own data members and will have its own member functions that will process that data members. This is the philosophy of your object oriented programming. To define objects, how we can create objects in object oriented programming. To create objects, we define different classes. Okay, classes, you can say classes is a template by which we create the object, like this one. Fruit is a class, this is a template. When we want to discuss about the object, apple is an object. Look at here, apple is a fruit, banana is a fruit, mango is a fruit. So we will specify. You can see the difference here. The specification of an object is written in class, the specification of an object. But when we want to use this specification, we create different objects. Another example is here, the class and the object. Look at, car is a class, but when we talk about a special type of car, what is the car? Volvo car, the Audi car, the Toyota car. Okay, then these are the objects. Objects are, Sidhu, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Objects are real world entities. Okay, objects are real world entities. Look at, student is real world entity. Okay, student. Similarly, this Volvo, you can see this is a car. Car is not a real world entity. But when you call some specific object, then you can say that. So objects are basically real world entities, while the classes to it belongs that are called some abstract type, uh, you can say, objects which do not exist in real world, but they are used to, like, my name is Habibullah. Okay, this is my
Mhm.
name, my age, and then my qualification, then my salary. These are the data members about. Okay, my, what are the functions? I teach. This is my function. What are my function? I get salary. Okay, what are my function? I withdraw my cash. These are my functions about. But is a human. I am a human. Okay, so my class is human. I am also an employee, so my class is employee. I am also a teacher, so my class is teacher. You understand that?
Mhm.
Okay, so next about the Java classes and the objects here, you can see how we will create, how we will code class. To create a class, simply with what we have the structure here, we will just type here like this one. We will type here public, then class, and then the name of class like student, student, and then we will make the body here, and the class will consist of two things. Number one, the data members, and number two, the operations, or you can say the methods, you can say, the functions. Okay, you can say the member function, whatever you can give. But these member functions are specifically performing different operations. You can say here operations on these data members. Okay, so we have made this class, this container, in which all the related data is present and all the related operations are present. Using this philosophy, we have separated different entities. Like we are conceiving a program. We are when we want to make like a university management system, we want to make an employee management system. We do not focus on what this function, what this system, what functions will be performed by this function, this system. We will focus on what are different entities in this system. Okay, what are different entities? So first of all, we will define the entities. We will collect the entities out of those. We will get entities, and then we will work on that entity. If we if like in university management system, we know that there is an entity of student, there is an entity of course, there is an entity of teacher. Then we will move our focus towards the single entity. Okay, student. So what will be the data members of student? What will be the functions of that student? So this, in this way, we define classes. Simple syntax is here. You can see here the name of the class and then the data members. You can see this is the data member, the variables. And if you need here, look at here, this is your data member, how we can create the objects, all this. To data members, sometimes we called attributes. There are two or three names that can be assigned. We can say attributes of the class, we can say data members of the class, we can say variables of the class, we can say the properties of the class. These all words can be interchangeably used for the class. Look at here. This is class, and we have defined two data members here. One is X, second one is Y. We can say that this is the class, and we have defined two attributes here. One attribute is X, the second attribute is Y. We can also call them fields. We can also call them data members. How we can access these fields? We will practice the code later on. Okay. Net, the method. The second thing is method. Methods, how we define method? Look at here. This is the main class, and here we define the method. We have worked on method. We look at here. When we talk about Java methods, we learn that every method have some return type, every method have some name, and may have some argument or parameters. Okay, this is static, this public, this private. This will be discussed now. So how we define methods, this is another thing. We learn that how we define methods. But how we define methods inside a class, that is another thing. We have learned how to define variables, but when we will define those variables, like here, you can see here, this is the main class, and this class has how many methods? Number one, full throttle name. Then the speed is the another method. So these are its methods. If you know, now let's take an example here. Okay, look at the example. We will type here how we will type a class here. I use here this the online editor of like W3 School, and I write here a class will define some method. Okay, I will not use this one. I remove this code to explain how we can use this. Okay, look at here. Whenever you start defining your class, you can define here the methods. Sorry, data members. I make here like I name it's a circle class. Okay, then I make an int the radius. Radius is the property, and I initiate with 0 like this one. Then I make some function here, the static, then void, and like here the area, calc area, and then I give an int radius, and this is the body of that function, and in this I will return uh, is I will return 3 multi. I think the area of circle is equal to 2 multiplied by pi and multiply by radius. Okay, so it means it will return int, not it will return something else. This is a complete example of class.
Oh, the area of a circle is
Okay,
pi r squared.
okay, pi r square. It could be pi r square. This is circumference. Okay, this is
Oh,
circumference. Look, we make it this one. We define another operation on circle like this one, and we calculate here the area. Okay, calc area, and this is calc circumference, so CRC, and it will return, and this is the circumference, and this we are pi r square. It means 3.14 multiplied by RAD multiplied by RAD. Now you can see here. This is a class. The name of class is circle. It has only one data member or function or sorry data member. This is data member. You can say this is data member, and these are data member functions. Have two member functions here, one for calculating the area. Look at this. The other name you can give him, these are attributes. Okay, these are like attributes of the class. Sorry for spelling. And this is the fields of class. You can give name. Member function we can give, these are the operations. These are the member uh, methods of class. You can define this one here. Look at this is a class, a complete class definition. The name of the class, then the body of the class, then you can define different attributes of that class, then you can define different methods. How many, this could be the different number of fields, different number of attributes, different number of data members, and similarly you can define here different type of functions and methods. How we define methods, we already know that. We have learned in Java methods that every method has some specific return type, may have some specific return type, it may have some parameters and the name of that one. Okay, so now how we'll use this one? To use this, we create a main function here. Okay, this class is if you will run if you will type this in your PC editor, when you will compile this class, it will give no error, but when you will run this class, it will not run, because to run a class you must have the main function in that class. So we define here the main function. Let we define here main function. Okay, this is the main function. Now, the first thing, we want to create the object of this class. To create an object, like create an object, we will put here the name of class. The name of class is circle, and then the name of object. C1 is equal to new, and then the circle, and then this type. This is the creation of an object of an class. This is the way of how you can create the class. You can simply put the semicolon here. This is also a way to create the class, but you can use the new operator also. Okay, whatever you have. Now you
Okay.
can want to set the radius of circle. Okay, C1 dot. You will put a dot operator, and uh, what is the attribute name? Exact name is radius. Okay, we'll type here radius and equal to 5 points, sorry, an integer value 8. Look at here, c1 dot radius is equal to 8. What it means that the object of c1 and every object has this radius, so it is now the part of this object. Now we will call here system dot out dot println, and we will type here like area of circle, and we let here, and then plus here we call the function c1 dot, we know that cal area function with the variable like this one here, c1 dot radius, we put this one here, c1 dot radius, we will pass this one and put here. You can see here we have used the c1, the area function, and we have given him the radius property of that one. Now we run it. There might be some syntax error because we do not have the compiler. Look at, this is the rate. What is that? Incompatible types. Yes, we have incompatible type because this is a float variable, while these are the integer. It means that we will have to make it double. This is double, it will return a double value. Okay, we make it also double so that it can manipulate this one. Now we run it. One, public class circle. What is the error? The class circle is public, should be declared in public class circle. We have defined it in public class circle, and then we have like this one. Okay, we try this one. The circle c1 and then c1 dot radius, and so uh, what is class, public class main. I think we should name it as main. Okay, because this
Okay.
is not our own editor. In this is the limitation of Java. Okay, in Java you will have to name the class with the file name. When I just make it main, and I will then make it main here, okay, and it means nothing else. It will run exactly. It will run now. C1 dot radius. C1 might not have been initialized. We have not initialized. Yes, we have not. We have changed this new circle. This is another error. We must type here main. Yes, now main C1 is equal to new main. This is object creation. Here we are setting the attribute value, and here we are calling the function which will work on this radius. Look at here, 200.96. Okay, this is the
Mm-hmm.
way we can define the classes, and we can define the attributes. Fields are data member of that class. This is how we can make the functions here. Let me add here another line, uh, copy, and I paste here, and this time I call calculate CIRC function, and here I type a circumference of the circle, and then I run it. Okay, the first line will print the calcArea, and the second line will print uh, will call that function. Look at here, this is working right. So this is how you can create a class, you can set the attributes, you can define the members, functions, and methods inside that class. And this is the way we can create the object of that class. This is this line. This is the way we can set the attributes value of that object. When you create C1, okay, C1 got three things which are specified in this class: the radius variable as a member and these two functions. Look at here. We have called C1 radius, okay? We have called C1 area, and we have called here C1 dot calc radius. What it means that C1 is an object of main class that we have just defined. You got this concept?
Yeah.
Yeah, you will retype this code in your uh, now editor and let me know. Okay, show me that code. I am stopping share screen, and then you can start. Okay,
Okay.
this is stop now.